It's time for Cutting Edge Consciousness with Freeman Michaels and Barnett Bain. Thought-provoking discussions and bold ideas from the edge of possibility.
Let's talk about beauty.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you kind of guide us into this because it's.
I was with a friend this weekend, and he was speaking about beauty, and I was so captivated. That's a low-key word for the experience that of really deeply listening into this beauty piece. But I was so tuned in, lit.
Beautiful.
By really making an inquiry for the first time about beauty, about what it is in art, what it is in music, what it is in another human being, what it is that we respond to and that we call beautiful. And yes, it is subjective, and even though it's subjective, underneath it, as we were saying earlier on another show, we were talking with Marcia Wieder about this thread of destiny, of grace that winds through all of our dreams. There is a thread of something that is beyond time and space that winds through even our relative subjective appreciations of things that we call beautiful. There is something timeless and spaceless about it. And
well, it feeds the soul.
It comes from the soul.
Yeah.
And it's soul. It is soul stuff. So I wanted to throw out something and then invite your response to it.
Sure.
We were looking at, well, what are the qualities of beauty? And you and I, for the last 4 or 5 months, have been all over paradox. It's very much the edge of our growth individually and together. We're
being able to hold paradox in our consciousness, not having to decide all the time.
Not either or,
right, both and.
Not even both and. Now, many contrary or opposing ideas as possible, but to be large enough to hold them all.
What we've termed dynamic complexity.
Get all those balls in the air.
Hold them all.
And throw in another ball. How many can we get in there? So beauty, it seems to be a paradox as well. Mm-hmm. There is an experience of beauty that occurs to me as the simultaneous experience of exhilaration and serenity.
Oh, interesting.
There's something that makes the heart leap
at
a gorgeous experience or a gorgeous sunset or a gorgeous woman, a beautiful man. There's something that makes a work of art, an incredible feat of athleticism, whatever.
Yeah.
There's something that just makes the heart leap. And at the same time, there is this serene, exquisite serenity at it that's just seems to be so still. So I wanted to invite your response to that and see whether that opens up anything in you or whether I am
no, I'm with
barking at trees.
No, well, you are barking at trees, but I'll bark with you.
The tree's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a serene tree.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. The interesting thing for me, I went to the Guggenheim when I was in New York, and I saw this exhibit. I should have prepped the show and remembered Lee
What?
Ufang.
You didn't do any homework here?
Lee Ufang. I think I said his name correctly.
Lee Ufang?
Yeah. He's an artist who does what might be termed fairly abstract, though for me it was very concrete. The way the way the exhibit was for me was exhilarating. And I said to my wife that exhibit lined up perfectly with where I am today. Had I gone to that exhibit a few years ago, I wouldn't have got it. It was so poetic. It was such a really beautiful, clean expression of how this man is experiencing his world, how he is experiencing the work very much revolves around a.
What's your experience?
Yeah, how he takes the natural world and the sort of fabricated world, the man-made stuff, and he puts them together. And sometimes they integrate very beautifully, and sometimes violently. Like there's a boulder and a smashed rock on top of a plate of iron, and it's something where he's thought through the entire process for himself. My experience of it, because it's also based on his poetry and his writing, and it's honestly based on his history as well. His whole history of coming out of the World War One.
I want to just jump in for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because what happens? This is like
I'm explaining.
This is a real time how we remove ourselves
got it.
from the experience of what is clearly to me when we tap into beauty before we remove ourselves, because it's confrontive. When we tap into beauty, we are tapping into a communication.
That's right.
It is a communication from parts of self beyond time-space. Mm-hmm. It is the more of us and communicating and so we collapse it into...
I'm taking all the juice out of it. I'm taking all the juice out of it personally because I'm trying to explain it. And that's where we go terribly wrong.
Well, again, we love this word on this show. It's a developmental...
Yes.
But to tap into beauty, beauty rewires our neurochemistry.
Yeah.
It opens us to paradox. It opens us to a connection beyond time-space.
Highly dimensional way.
To take a beautiful work of art and bring it into time-space, you would have to analyze it.
That's what I'm doing.
That's what critics do.
That's what critics do.
Critics remove themselves from the orgasm of it.
Yes.
And write treatises on how the body mechanics worked.
Right.
So
that is the greatest analogy. That is such a good analogy. What you just said, they remove themselves from the orgasm of it, and they write treatises on the body mechanics of it. And why would you try to explain that? That's just
because we're comfortable operating in there when we're operating in beauty.
We try to bring it back to control.
There's a reason beauty is speechless.
Yes.
Not a good moment. Not a good thing for radio.
But that's right.
But we're breaking open things here. So we're having a good radio moment.
That's right.
So I don't know. I'm just musing around here. This is virgin territory for me.
I'm going to go farther with this. What was I'm kind of still thinking to the sensation of my New York experience as an expression of all these parts of the ways, the person I was at all the times I went to New York. It's like these incredible snapshots of my life. And it's a very sensory experience. And certain things they have a point of reference of who I am today versus who I was the last time, for instance, I was at the Guggenheim. The last time I was at the Guggenheim, that exhibit, I would have said it was boring. I don't like it. I want to go to the Met and look at Impressionists. Because that was where I was. I couldn't, that wasn't where I wasn't meeting my experience.
I want to go to the garden and look at big trucks.
Yeah, or whatever. I mean, the truth is we have the opportunity to determine what's meaningful for us. And it is a felt sense. It's something that isn't thought through. Oftentimes things that I think are going to be so great, I have some perception of how it should look, and they're not. And all these organic moments that become something, because there's enough permission in my own experience, there's enough expansiveness in my own consciousness to allow something to move me. You know what I'm saying? That I'm discovering beauty.
Well, to allow myself to at the same time experience exhilaration. Wow. And this serenity, this perfect serenity. You look at a fantastic rose. I mean, I cannot go past a rose without smelling it. The smell of a rose is so
There you go. You just did it. That's it. That's it.
So that is, for me, all that needs to be experienced. And I understand now that it is a communication.
That's it right there.
I can get in the way of the communication by wringing out the experience of holding this paradox. We don't have language to express paradox. We have language that expresses an idea at a time.
Yeah.
So the juxtaposition of symbols that can generate in us something that comes from beyond our capacity, our conditioned capacity. Now, if it's coming from beyond my conditioned capacity and I'm experiencing it, I'm developing a relationship with it. Then I'm wiring and firing new brain chemistry to accommodate it. I am bringing online unfamiliar senses, not just my 5 common senses. I'm bringing online new senses, uncommon senses that have an intimacy with this, and I am becoming a possible human.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And part of what the challenge for what this show is and what we've been doing is we keep playing with the edge. The entire show is about the edge of what's known, and we keep looking over into this unfolding in front of us, and we're trying to describe it. Like, I love the idea that I'm trying to explain beauty. You can't, but I'm going to do it anyway. You know, because we do work in words. I mean, that's what we're doing here. We're on a radio show.
We try to explain beauty.
Yeah.
We try to explain creativity.
Yeah.
We try to.
Though we're doing a heck of a job with the creativity. The book is coming along. We're doing really good about. Like, wow, we really found language.
Pre-order that book. So
can't wait till we get to the point where we can pre-order the book.
We are doing our best, and we are like laying cable in front of us as we go in order to do it. Week by week, we're sort of throwing out a trail for ourselves to follow in order to do it, and the challenge is to have the humility to say, you know, there's an experience here that I don't have any history. I don't have any referent for that makes sense in order to communicate it.
Fantastic.
And then I don't, like a spark plug, I don't discharge it. I get to sit in it. I get to get worked by it.
And I don't want to diminish it by languaging it too much. I don't want to put it in a box.
No, but that's where we have poetry.
Yeah.
That's where we have dance.
Yeah.
That's where we have quiet, ecstatic contemplation.
Right. Well, and that's where
where we have the Guggenheim.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes the whole conversation is, you know, I don't really know, but here's my ideas, or this is something that's becoming real to me. But here, you know, here's how. Anyhow, the whole way.
Or you go down to the Geary Concert Hall, the Disney Concert Hall in downtown Los Angeles.
Just stare at the building.
And you stand in front of that building.
Yeah.
And I cannot go past it. I flew over it once on an approach pattern into LAX. It is thrilling. It's thrilling to look at that thing. And it is so stately at the same time. It's thrilling and exuberant, and at the same time it has such dignity. So until experiencing a building like that, I had never experienced those kinds of I've never been worked by those kinds of forces before.
Yeah.
I guess that's what music is about.
I love that. I don't know, but we'll know when we get there. You know, that's it. It's like I don't know what makes something magnificent.
Jesse Helms once said that about porno. Senator Jesse Helms. He said he was up there in the chamber and he was yelling about whatever he was yelling about, and he had a problem with a lot of our freedoms, including pornography. And he said, we was asked to define it, and he said, well, I don't know what it is, but I know it when I see it.
That's right.
And so there's great wisdom in that.
There is. That is. But everyone else has to see it the way he sees it, or you're out.
Or you're gone. Or you're history.
Because we all have to trust that Jesse knows what's best for us. Then we just revealed a little of our political bent. It's not political. It's a sensibility about.
It's a sensibility.
It's about having our own lines of what works for us and what doesn't, and not trying to apply a single one size fits all. Here's the criteria for beauty. If you don't match it, you don't get to be in the club. It's not art.
And can I hold paradox across the board?
That's right.
I mean, this communication, this soul communication is, I don't know what it is, but I have a inkling of a piece of it. A piece of it. I perceive a piece of it. The piece is I am becoming more and more aware of my capacity to be in the ecstasy of these contrary energies. And how does that apply? What is some of the takeaway in terms of how I live inside time and space? It allows me to be able to have a certain compassionate relationship to the likes of the late Jesse Helms, and to be able to understand that I can both be in agreement with some of what he says and in disagreement with some of what he says, that I can have a whole menu of feelings around whatever it is, pornography in the case of Jesse Helms, and have them all be contrary.
Yeah.
And that complexity makes me human.
Yeah. And the inclination to want to...
We went from
beauty
to porno. How about that?
Right. Well, that's where it wanders to. The ability to not decide, to hold several things that feel really contradictory, that are pulling us very dramatically in different ways, to stand in the middle of that, the center of the storm, as it were. Allow for all of that. And not decide, not making decisions, for just a minute longer. Just to allow for a little bit more dynamic complexity. Hold as many possible shades as we can, so we see more deeply into things. It's a depth of perception.
And we become more powerful. We are able to make, the more choices we have, the paradox is, or it's not really a paradox, it's an irony. The more choices we have, the irony is the better equipped we are to make choice that sticks. When we only have one choice, it's tough to make it. And
when there's only two choices, when there's this way or that way, then we're stuck with that. Whereas we start to wait for a minute, we see all kinds of dimensional ways of approaching something open up, and there's myriad other choices. And it's not just...
Then it becomes a preference.
It's not just empowering.
It becomes a preference rather than...
That's it. It's just a preference. I'll take chicken or fish or this or that or none. But
pasta.
Or pasta. Just back from New York, lots of pasta. It's more fulfilling. It's more rewarding. It's more empowering, but it's also, there's dimension to it.
It's a richer life. It's a richer life. It's a bigger life.
There's a greater...
How are we doing for time, Mr.
We've run out.
We've run out?
But that's okay. It was a good time.
Because I see people standing outside the studio looking at us like...
When are you done?
Say more about Jesse Helms.
It's so interesting to me. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And we hope that you, and if you enjoy this, that you send it on to friends and that you keep coming back to Cutting Edge Consciousness. Thanks for listening.